why those involved in the sector are not adopting agricultural technology. Now we head into the international scene, where 24 members of a family in northwestern Nigeria died after consuming poisoned food, as the local government officials said on Tuesday, according to Anadolu News Agency. Now, and Ali Ineme Sokoto, State Commissioner for Health, said that the incident occurred in Danzake village of Bagaja ward in the eastern local government area of the state. Now, he furthermore said a fertilizer popularly known as Gishirini Lare in Hausa was used as a food seasoning, as it was thought to be salt. Now, Anadolu further revealed that the 24 victims are said to be members of an extended family living together in one compound, and regrettably, the entire family who ate the meal lost their lives, except 2 female members who merely tested the food and are currently responding to treatment with very good chances of survival, he said. Now, still moving on, the U.S.'s Coast Guard commander has said that the capsized vessel never received weather warning. Now, he furthermore says that the technical issue prevented the guard from relaying warnings on severe weather to a vessel that overturned in the Gulf of Mexico in April, killing 13 crew members. Now, in April 13th, the Siaco Power, a commercial lift boat designed to service oil platforms, capsized after encountering a hurricane force winds about 20 kilometers off the coast of Louisiana, with 19 people on board. Now, the 6 people were rescued the day of the accident, and since that time, 4 other bodies were seen to be recovered. Now, lastly, Belarus has told the US to reduce the embassy staff after rejecting an ambassador. Now, the regime of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has responded to the latest round of US sanctions by requesting Washington to reduce its embassy staff in Minsk to 5 people by September 1st. Now, Belarusian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Anatol Halas said in an interview that was placed on the ministry's website on August 11th that Minsk also had revoked its consent to the appointment of Julie Fisher as the US ambassador to Belarus. Now that brings us to the end of our news this particular hour. We head into the forex rates as they are in town right now. This is courtesy of Centenary Bank, Uganda. Now we do start with the US dollar, that is buying at 3,455 shillings while selling at 3,586 shillings. The Great Britain pound is buying at 4,781 shillings and while selling at 4,992 shillings. Now meanwhile, the euros is buying at 3,989 while selling at 4,271. The Kenyan shilling meanwhile is buying at 30.08 shillings while selling at 34.32 shillings, and then 7 shillings while selling at 5.15 shillings. And lastly, the Tanzanian shilling is buying at 1.24 shillings while selling at 1.84 shillings. All right, now that brings us to the end of our news this particular hour. Good morning. Smart 24, driving business.
Very well, 34 minutes per 7 in the morning. How are you doing? Oh, what a blessing of rain.
Very early in the morning.
Was it even very early in the morning? I think it was around 3. Very well. Were you awake by 3?
No, it was around, and I was awake by 5:30.
Okay.
So that is why I was like, in most parts of the country, actually, in the most parts, the most areas around Bukoto here, Naguru, it started raining at around, at 6.
Okay, at 6.
That
means it
6.
was raining in bits. But a very good morning, a warm welcome to Smart 24 TV SMB. SMB, Smart means business. And we're here to drive businesses together. My name is Rita Kavanyaro.
And I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. So excited. It's a Friday.
Very well.
Like this one.
Sonko here was counting for us when we were in the 42-day lockdown, but then churches are still under the 60-day lockdown, and the same as indoor sport, the 42 days lockdown. What have you been counting now? To be like you have moved on.
No, let me give myself a task that by Monday maybe I start recounting for those people. Most of the churches are still in the procession
and
of
sport people are waiting for
sports people as well.
Very well. So we hope on Monday Sonko will be coming through with new counts and some highlights regarding the days. And being the 13th of August, very many people now are on the road, and we also expect a lot of traffic jam a bit because it has drizzled and it a bit disturbed people who wake up very early in the morning to hit the road. So they are all coming up at the same time, which is why a lot of vehicles now at the same time moving. Borders now they are free.
Very free to move.
I don't know in your area, but around Naguru Ntinda areas,
it's a very good morning blessing on a Friday.
Very well. What has been up since yesterday? What have been your observations, Paul?
So far, I did have a story today about UNBS calling upon traders to make sure that they can at least register their goods so that they meet standards on the international market, mainly because they want us to, Ugandans want to export things, but according to UNBS, they're supposed to follow the right procedures of UNBS, because UNBS has got the seals that it normally puts onto any good or product, and these are the particular things that come out to go against forgery and fake products as well. Now, according to the deputy ED standards at UNBS, she called upon all traders or people dealing in the manufacturers, people in the industry sector, service providers, to make sure you get yourself a UNBS management certificate, your system certification. This is going to help most of you, to export your goods, because that is where most of the industries or most of these companies want to hit. We all want to hit that market as well and benefit from it as a country also. Very
well. So you think how costly will it be for these particular traders?
No, it will be a bit costly in a way that most of them already have issues when it comes to a number of taxes that are on board. Because going for that particular certificate, money has not been identified, the exact money, but there is an amount to pay before you're given that particular certificate to run your goods as well.
Very well, and that is NBS. But as we speak, the Ministry of Health also has issued a list of at least private testing accredited laboratories in the country. And just to highlight for you, these are some of the lists that this is some part of the list that is out. So you can go to NBN Clinical Laboratories. You can go to Medipal International Hospital Laboratory. You can go to Test and Fly Laboratory. You can go to Case Hospital Laboratories, Kampala. You can go to ANCA Laboratories. You can go to City Medicals Laboratory, Safari Laboratories, Lanceti Laboratories, ATCG Laboratories, Mamiya Group Laboratories, Same Day COVID-19 Lab, and Epic Center Lab in Imbara. So these are some of the laboratories in the country that the ministry has accredited for COVID-19 private testing. So if you want to go and test for COVID-19, these are some of the safest per now. What does it mean actually? You know, a list coming out, and the laboratories we know, or most of you that you've gone to, they are not anywhere on the list. I mean, how do you feel? Should we say that these are they're bringing out fake results? Because actually this one comes after very many people are continuously being arrested at the airport for fake vaccination, fake certificate, fake results of COVID-19. So should we?
Now, actually, before even the lockdown, there have been a number of private vaccination centers. Testing. Because there is even one I know of. I don't know why they haven't mentioned it, but it has been there ever since, even before the lockdown started. Surprisingly. And it is along Entebbe Road.
Hovik, even we have Hovik Hospital, I think around Bombo Road.
So the other is a center, someone put in,
maybe
it is
they
a
have
center,
got their issues.
and it is actually as you're heading to the airport. So I don't know how come it has not been identified, but I used to see a number of people going there, even up to now. Most people still go there and they feel like those results are genuine. Are genuine for them, because it's a 24-hour result. So you go. After the test, you return the other day.
I understand. And genuine results are not determined by number of people that go to a certain area. Actually, that is why there are always fake results around there. Because first of all, the testing is cheap. So you're recommending a friend.
You know why I was mentioning about it? Because I remember the initial price that we had. It was 240,000, and I would still see people going there, and I was like, wow. Okay, maybe that. And according to the situation that they've been there for some time, it clearly shows you that maybe they're among those people who also do genuine results.
Yes, we appreciate the list that has come for 10 accredited laboratories. But if the ministry could also come up and highlight for us,
what have they identified? These
what was the criteria even, and also what are some of some of the guidelines we can follow as the public, as what the public can follow to actually go and see a genuine, identify a genuine laboratory or what. But as we move on, Paul, what do we have next?
All right, now coming up next, we do have a feature story. This comes after the lockdown has been, after the lockdown being lifted, it caused a number of economic crisis in the country, and among these particular sectors in the economy of Uganda is the Entrepreneurship Financial Center, the EFC, which has been which has always been giving out loans to this particular private sector or the private industries in Uganda, private entities as well. And we've been mentioning about how they've been affected. And according to the chairman, Shem Kakembo, he gave out what he thought about the idea of the lockdown, how it has affected them, and also mentioned about the fact that yesterday we did have a story where over 470 properties are being put on auction by the banks. Just because these particular people are not really do not have the money to pay back the loans they took.
To pay
so
back.
You could see that.
So their securities they put is being auctioned.
Auctioned away now, over 470 countrywide. Now let's take a look at this story from the chairman, Entrepreneurship Financial Center, Mr. Shem Kakembo, analyzing for us what the COVID-19 situation meant to them as a banking sector as well.
Adversely, everybody across all of the sectors, but especially for the banking sector, because much of what we do is take deposits and lend to business people like you and many others. So we have had the pandemic running over the last, let's say, almost 2 years. At the onset, early 2020, you remember there was a very long lockdown, and we offered lots of moratoriums to our customers, repayment holidays, etc. Remember, a bank or a financial institution like ourselves makes money when people borrow and pay back. Now, during that extended lockdown, the first lockdown, there was barely anything coming in. So obviously, we took significant hits on our profitability, on liquidity, etc. But by the end of the year, we had made some substantial recoveries. Then came 2021 and another lockdown. Obviously, it impacts the business people, and when their business is impacted, it is we take a direct hit as well. So you could say we have written off a number of loans, we have taken losses. All of these repayment holidays come at a cost. That has been the significance of the adversity of the pandemic to our sector. I think since the onset of the pandemic, over a year ago, the banks laid down a number of initiatives for the business people. For example, I just mentioned the repayment holidays, but also there's what we call restructuring in the banking world, where the customer discovers that given the pandemic, there are new realities to their business, the cash flows are impacted, etc. Maybe if their loan installment was, say, 10 million a month, now they can only afford, say, 4 or 5. There is that window for the business person, the borrower, to approach the lender, the bank, and have a negotiation, a discussion, and the loan is restructured to suit their new realities. So we have done a lot of that, and specifically for us at EFC, our acceptance rate is in excess of 85%. So close to 9 out of every 10 applicants for restructuring has been accepted, re-evaluated, and a new repayment plan agreed. So that is the best we can do, because we cannot write off or forgive these facilities, because, as you know, banks do not use their own money to lend. It is depositors who bring in their savings, and which is then lent to the borrowers. So a John will deposit into the bank, and Cathay will borrow it. The bank better makes sure that Cathay is paying back her loan, because then John will walk in and won't find the money. So that is the principle of banking, that borrowers must make good on their obligations. But yes, there's been lots of accommodations in the industry, many of them guided by the central bank on how to go about the credit COVID relief program.
All right, there you've seen Shem Kakembo, Mr. Kakembo Shem from the EFC, giving us more of what has been happening when it comes to COVID and what it meant to the microfinance sector in Uganda, and also to when it comes to the loans that the businesses have been getting throughout the time, because a number of them have totally failed to actually pay them back.
Very, and for me, I think microfinance sector or companies or whatever it is, or microfinance institutions, some of them have reaped big in COVID-19, because this is the situation where they were actually not even considering people who were suffering but continued. You know, Mr. Kakembo there is just coming out just of late to let us know what has been happening. But we have had 2020 when people were suffering, when entrepreneurs were reporting for the ministry actually to come out, or the government, and address the issue of microfinance institutions. But these people have been taking up money and have been taking up security. They make sure you have got ekintu ekiri heavy kya security. If bwebetaka over what, of course, you have nothing to offer. If you don't have anything to offer, you don't get any deal at these microfinance centers or SACCOs. Because
definitely, that is the reason as why most people are now in a battle of safeguarding their property. But it's now too late. Remember, some people have been already home, been locked up in a situation. Kati omuntu aine banja ngawola banti Mr. Shem Kakembo has come out and said that the reason as why it is like this is because the money they get is it's like Rita ojja mu banka no savinga so nkonenzija nenkwewola ko sente kati banka ebemanyi by the time Rita okomina ngo yagala sente zo so nkaina okubanga yatandise ddo okusasulako kati lwaki bagenda okikola bati nti Rita ajja kujja nga yagala sente ze so nkotana sasula nga option eribo
I know it's always, you know, games of system, of policy makers, but yes, we understand the bank will not have, of course, it will not wait for any explanations from Paul or from anyone who is borrowing. But at the same time, what policies? The policies we do make, at the same time, the implementers go with, and then they are suffocating some of, you know, some of the consumers of these policies, some of the lay people around. But also on that particular one, I can just say maybe there is a future ahead for entrepreneurs, for a businessman, because at least government has approved, you know, the 200 billion to be accessed in the bank.
Though we're still awaiting to see whether it is actually going to happen. Because
it is, because even the president was saying this time
it has
nobody, yes, nobody has, the commercial banks will not, you know, the previous time why people actually were even not gaining from this money, businessmen, they were, the interest rates were at 12%, even 14%. But the president has said, you know what, it has to be at 10%, not more than 10%. Tolerant at least
some of the though surprise, I think the president should also look at how this money is being allocated, or how the entrepreneurs get the money, because most of them actually lost hope in the 200 billion. Why? Because they put in, according to them, what they saw in the first phase of the 100 billion that the government had promised. Did not happen, did not come to pass. So they thought of the 1 billion that the government had to first put through in the first lockdown.
The first, the last financial year.
The last financial year. According to the stages they had to pass through from UDB to Postbank, and then at the end of the day you look at the money that you're going to receive. So by the time most of them thought of waiting for all that time, when their businesses are dropping out, that is why most of the entrepreneurs thought of going to commercial banks for the loans, because they would think that even the difference within the interest rate is like the same. It's almost the same, from 14% to 12%.
Very well. And I agree with you, and this time the government has added the 100. 100, because business people were complaining this money is very small for us. That is why there is a lot of competition at the bank, UDB. That is why there is also increased rates around the banking, around the withdrawal rates, or getting that money. Even the process was too much, like you are explaining. But at the same time, we still await to at least hear an experience from SMEs or MSMEs. You never know what hope it is there for this particular money that the government now has put as their supplementary budget for SMEs. Still moving on, what do we have for coming up next?
All right, now coming up next, we head into our business diaries, where
I've said it again, not coming up next.
What do we have?
Coming up, it's either coming up or up next.
Okay, if you say no, coming up. You're right when you say that. All right, now coming up, we do have a business diaries.
Very well.
This particular one, we're heading to what happened today on a day like this. That is on the 13th of August. And we go back to 1918, where Bairisik Motorenwak AG, that is normally known as BMW, established a public company in Germany. And Bairisik Motorenwak, that is abbreviated as BMW, is commonly referred to as the BMW, and is a Germany multinational corporation which produces luxury vehicles and motorcycles. Now, the corporation was founded in 1916 as a manufacturer of aircraft engine, which it produced from 1917 until 1918, and again from 1933 to 1945. But it opened up its first public company in 1918 on 13th of August. I think most of us already know now BMWs. I remember in the translated movies we used to say what the translators used to tell us, that BMWs be my wife. So that's what we had in the mind, that Omwana I will be my wife from childhood. Okay. So to all of you,
and were you believing that? Did you believe it?
No, because those are the childhood memories that we had. That even apparently till I had to discover more about BMW is when I realized it has never been Be My Wife, because it is already a German company. So which is Bairisik Motorenwak.
Very
as,
well.
as BMW.
Now
M4.
you know it. It's no longer Be My Wife, but By Reset.
By research, Motoren.
Very well. We go along with that. And still moving on to our diaries this particular morning, what happened on the 13th of August in 1960? Actually, the Central African Republic became an independent country, and David Dacko became the first president of that particular nation there. Now, during his first time as president, Dacko significantly increased diamond production in the Central African Republic by eliminating the monopoly on mining held by the concessionary companies, and also decreeing the Central African gold dig for the diamond. And also he succeeded in having a diamond cutting factory built in Bangui. Okay, this one is from Central African Republic. You always say happy birthday to them.
Happy
But this
Independence
is actually their Independence Day when they first got their first president. That is the African Republic becoming very independent from the colonial administration. And that now brings us to the end of our diaries this particular morning. We now do take a break, because at the top of the hour we have got news coming right there on your screen. This is SMB. My name is Rita Cavanyoro with Joram Paul Sonko. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business. All right, now we have 2 minutes past 8 in the morning. Let's head into our news. But first, we'll start with what is happening locally, where we start with the health workers that have urged the government to consider recruitment of more anesthesiologists across the country to fill the missing gaps. Now, anesthesiologists are physicians who evaluate, monitor, and supervise patient care before, during, and after surgery, as well as ensuring optimal patient safety. Now, Dr. Charles Olaro, the Director, Clinical Services and Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, said in a press statement that the country currently needs a total of 400 anesthesiologists, 2,831 anesthetic officers, and 5,000 ICU nurses to work in regional referral hospitals. Now, the president of anesthesiologists in Uganda, Dr. Joseph Chiwanuka, says Uganda currently has a total of 68 anesthesiologists who serve the entire country, noting that more are needed as these are insufficient. All right, now we head into the next one. As in line with the government of Uganda's strategy to support local content under the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy, Umeme's purchases for electricity poles from local farmers now stands at 90,000 annually. Now, Celestino Babunji, Umeme's managing director, says Umeme's sources of poles, wooden and concrete from Ugandan entities in line with the government's Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy as such, anybody and that has planted trees has to deal with the contracted companies as they encourage them to reach out to those companies. Now, it's in the 2020 annual report, Umeme noted that the wooden poles continue to be integral in line construction. It committed to procure wooden poles from environmentally responsible suppliers who have been established large, sustainably managed forest plantations. Now, lastly, a rapid assessment study by the Economic Policy Research Center has indicated that most businesses in Uganda are far from being resilient. Now, Dr. Francis Mwesije, a senior research fellow at EPRC, say that the assessment found that most MCMEs in Uganda following the second, this came with consequences, and the study furthermore noted that some women that were sleeping in the markets had underlying conditions like asthma and were worsened as a result. Now, some of them were suffering from diseases like HIV/AIDS and were unable to move to pick their medicines. Now, the study furthermore noted that some women that were sleeping in markets had underlying conditions like asthma, as Dr. Francis Abibi, the chief economist at the Uganda Development Bank, furthermore said. Now, at the launch of the report, that they had been asking for business plans before offering loans to small businesses, but they have however realized that many businesses do not have business plans. Now, he furthermore said they can design a small form which they can fill and quicken the process of getting money. All right, now that brings us to the end of what we've been having in the local news. Now we head to the foreign news with Rita Cabanyoro.
Very well, we begin with South Sudan, where South Sudan court has fined a woman $87,000 US for defaming the minister on Facebook. Now, the South Sudanese High Court sentenced social media influencer and self-proclaimed activist Amira Ali Thomas, who is also 6 months in prison for defaming former RAP State Information Minister Nyakashi Kwol through the videos she posted online. Now, the Juba court on Monday also ordered Ali Thomas, known as Mama Mira, to pay 35 million South Sudanese pounds, that's around 87,000 US dollars, to Kawul in a compensation. Still moving on, we head to Malawi, where Malawi's Anti-Corruption Bureau has arrested the energy minister and 2 other officials for allegedly being corrupt and also involving into oil oil corruption cases. Malawi Energy Minister Newton Kambala has been arrested along with the presidential advisor Chris Chema Banda and Enoch Jimane, who is also a partner in the governing Tons Alliance. Now, in a statement released yesterday by the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Kambala has been also revealed on his duties by the President Chakwera effective August 11th. We continue heading to Zambia, where the Zambians are voting in nationwide elections after a tense campaign dominated by economic woes and also the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, approximately 7 million citizens are registered for the vote of the president. Legislators and local government representatives in the polls are opened at 6 a.m. That is on Thursday, and closing the 12 hours later. More than also 12,000 people voting 12,000 voting stations across the vast country. Now, 16 presidential candidates are vying for the top job, but front runners are the incumbent, that is Edgar Lungu, 64, and his longtime nemesis, that is business tycoon Hakainde Hichilema, that is 59-year-old, who are also facing off at the polls for the third time. And now that brings us to the end of our news at this particular minute. Now coming up is Forex updates from Durham Paul Sonko. But before we get into that, briefly just to highlight onto how the Zimbabweans are also voting, we really hope the security around there is very great. Now let me cross to Durham Paul Sonko to highlight for us how Forex are trading in town.
All right, now we head to the Forex rates that is courtesy of Centenary Bank Uganda, where we do start with the US dollar that is buying at 3,455 shillings while selling at 3,586 shillings. Meanwhile, the Great Britain pound is buying at 4,781 while selling at 4,992 shillings. The euro is buying at 3,989 while selling at 4,271 shillings. The Kenyan shilling is buying at 30.08 shillings while selling at 34.32 shillings. And the Rwandese franc is buying at 2.37 shillings while selling at 5.15 shillings. The Tanzanian shilling is buying at 1.24 shilling while selling at 1.84 shillings. Now that brings us to the end of our news this particular hour. We do go in for a short break, but we return shortly. This is SMB. Good morning. Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business. All right, now we have 14 minutes past 8 in the morning. It is SMB here at this particular Friday with the excitement that we're heading into the weekend. Wherever you're catching the show from, thank you very much for joining us. This is Smart 24 TV, and we do welcome you again to the best then in business. Now, Rita, we did have a story in the local in our local news today, as government is in the government as Uganda's strategy to support local content, that is through the Buy Uganda,
Build Uganda
policy. Women purchases for electricity poles from local farmers now is at 90,000, as they're looking up to that way of at least promoting these people who are actually having these poles, or people who are dealing into planting of trees, if I am to put it in that way. So this is a way of promoting bafama between
they call them farmers. Pole planters, okay, tree planters.
That turn them into poles. I didn't know that even those poles are planted. I don't know how my childhood.
They are, because we had. You're talking about the childhood. Okay. I was thinking like even now, like you didn't know that.
No, it is when you grow up you start.
Pain, muliberamu emitija pain, muliberamu emitija calitus, that's eucalyptus trees, and also the pain trees.
And I've seen a number of people dealing in now planting of eucalyptus trees. Nga bagezako ndozo omuntu omusanga nagamba within 5 years 5 to 7 years emiti jange jeja bagitandise olaga omulamwa ngitunde jija kumpa cent. So according to Meme's report, the new prices are now 90,000 annually. Now it stands at 90,000 per year.
Okay, and this one comes after actually the one pole was costing between 50 and 60. That is 2 years back, 3 to 2 years back. When I'm talking about 3, year 2019? No, 18. From 2018.
2 to 3, maybe 2018 to 19.
2018 to 19, a pole was ranging from between 50 and 60,000. That is also, it was also depending whether it's Spain, Kubankugambe, waliwe mtija calitus, eucalyptus and pain trees. So it was also depending. But now we see that because of, the government wanting to support this tree planter, to support farmers, even to support environmental protectionism and conservation of the environment as well. They're encouraging people. This is also one way of encouraging the public to, grow trees and conserve the environment.
Definitely.
Because bawulira omuti guli ku 90,000.
90,000. Gwe ng'omulimi owulira nga
even when you're not, as we speak, I'm a potential tree planter, by the way. From here I want to go and
olabenga olima, because at 90,000 or at least omanya your sweat is actually now being valued.
Because if it's at 90, then how about 2 years to come? That means we're seeing it going increasingly going to be maybe 100,000 just a pole. And just one may imagine, like, how does government even buy? They either buy as a garden. Sometimes they come and see the whole plantation. So not a garden, the plantation, and then they survey it. You can reach out only from your district, because Tuina district. So you go to your district area, mulimu authorities that are in the Department of Environment or Umeme department. Yes, you reach out to them. They come and survey if you want, you know, to sell out the plantation. So that's how it is done. And then after that, because I've experienced this, they come and mark the trees. They be marking them, or they give you the time. Actually, they survey the trees if they are actually ready to be harvested or cut down for the polling.
So you can easily see, if I told you have over 100 trees in your plantation, then that means you're rich.
100 times 90.
100 times 90,000. Hey.
Million mwenda over million chenda over mtwalo chenda.
Million chenda.
Okay, just to highlight for you. Okay, just to highlight for you, these are warnings coming in from Umeme as we speak right now, the 13th of August. These are some of the areas where Umeme is alerting people because of the ongoing scheduled and also restoring electricity services. First of all, Wakaliga, Masengere, Sentema Road, Mengo, Rubaga, Bulange, Ndeje University, Namirembe, Sekabaka, Chintu Road, Kabusu, near areas near Sembule, Rubaga Boys, Rubaga Church Zone, Mengo. So as we speak today, these places will not be having electricity, or you will have electricity cut off because Umeme is trying to rectify some of the electricity services so that you can have better services. And still, areas in Kasese, those were Kampala areas. Now we have Kasese areas. Some of areas around there you are not having electricity because electricity services are being rectified. Masaka and Jinja as well. So as of August, they are really effective. That by the end of today, it goes for 1 day, 24 hours. So they are going to rectify it. Tomorrow you will be back. So what do we have next on SMB?
All right, now what we're heading into that particular segment in the hour where we give you the chance to identify the jobs you can actually apply for. That is an opportunity for anyone out there. If I told you home, you may even be at a job, at a certain job, but maybe when you're looking for new greener pastures, you could definitely use this particular moment to grab yourself another job opportunity to at least get a different source of income out there. It may not be, it may not necessarily be from your own academic. Is it, if I should say, academic accreditation, or where you started from, your line of the academic,
your career?
Yes, your career, your line of academic profession. Yes, your career line. But when you at least have the skills that are needed for this particular one. Now we do head into our job match, and where we do start with the first job that we have is coming from the Education Development Center, the EDC, and it's here in Kampala, as they are looking for a risk and compliance specialist. Now, the risk and compliance specialist, the RSCS, will work under the direction and guidance of the Deputy Chief of Party, Finance and Operations, and with technical team leads, and under the general management of the Chief of Party. The RSCS will ensure that the effective controls are in place and functioning that safeguard the use of all ICYD resources, financial, material and human resources, and will furthermore mitigate the risk of fraud or misuse of project funds and assets. Now,
very well.
Just lastly, the minimum qualification of this one is 10 years.
Okay.
An executive level with a bachelor's degree with you. Bachelor's, master's, you can definitely apply for this one.
Okay, we move on and we head to EcoBank, which is looking for a head of payments at EcoBank. Now you will be reporting to the managing director, and just the job purpose is to make sure you are designing a new management product strategy capable of capturing new customers, retaining and growing existing customers. You have to also design effective, accurate cash financials and also volume trend analysis. Moving on, you have to develop and execute on strategy to cross strategy to cross all sell cash management solution to the all existing customers. Okay, let's highlight for you now onto what you are expected to be having in regards to experiences. First of all, you have to ensure that you, okay, I do not see okay, they are highlighting responsibilities, business and financial performance management, and cash management skills. You have to be skilled in managing financials as well. Okay, this one is not highlighting the salary wage that you can actually be getting around there, but in case you want to know more about this particular job at EcoBank, you need to go visit their website. Surely you will get to know what it takes or what it costs for such opportunity.
All right, now we head to Parliament now, where the Parliamentary Pension Scheme, the PPS, is looking for an internal auditor. Now, the internal auditor will support the internal audit function in providing audit services to the scheme. Now, your minimum qualification should be a bachelor's degree with a mid-level of 3 years experience in internal auditing. Now, the Parliamentary Pension Scheme, the PPS, was established by the Parliamentary Pensions Act 2007 as a contributory hybrid cash balance retirement benefit plan for the members of Parliament, that is of Uganda, and the staff of the Parliamentary Commission. Now, the job summary of that will be: you will support the internal audit function in providing audit services to the scheme. Your key duties and responsibilities are: 1, to support the preparation and review of audit policies and procedures. You should also perform periodic reviews of automated systems and make recommendations for improvement. You should also make sure you participate in preparation for annual department work. So if I told you you are an internal auditor somewhere and you want to work for Parliament, or you ever want to work for government, here's the chance for you at the Parliamentary Pension Scheme.
Very well. And lastly, right here on our job mat this morning, the Assistant Registrar at Makerere University. You are urgently needed. Now, you have to, the Assistant Registrar, you have to be assistant to the Senior Assistant Manager of the Academic Affairs. The key duties and responsibilities: compiling and maintaining data bank of internal and external examiners. You have to process students' results and graduation lists. You have to provide secretariat services to school and academic committees, among others, as you will be reading. And now, required qualifications: a master's degree in humanities or education or business administration or management, or Masters of Science degree with postgraduate qualifications in management. Also, a bachelor's degree in education or humanities or sciences or business administration. A minimum of 3-year experience is highly permitted. And also the skills, you will be surely going there to refer to them. Okay, they've got an age limit. Okay. They have not disclosed it, but it's between 30. Okay, it's not clear, but they have highlighted an age limit. Basically, you need to go and visit Makerere University information for more detail onto this particular assistant registrar who is needed around there. We move on. Now that brings us to the end of our job mat this particular morning. We're going to take a break. When we do return, we'll be having a discussion or an engagement onto financial management or financial markets, and we'll be looking at how. That's a very typical repetition.
No,
we'll be looking
definitely.
at how.
No, you will still. it is the same thing. Just to let people know how to run your financial status and the markets when it comes to the financial situations in the country.
Very well. We're going to be looking at the value of money in financial markets. Good morning. This is SMB. We do return after the break.
Smart24, driving business.
Well, 32 minutes past 8 in the morning. How are you doing? And a very warm welcome to our discussion right here on SMB, Smart Means Business. My name is Rita Cabanyero. And with me this morning, I'm joined by Raphael Chisache, who is a forex trader actually. And we'll be looking at very deeply and getting insights on how money is very valuable in financial markets, or the value of money in financial markets. And being a financial market, today we were having a theme on that particular one. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Raphael. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Fine. If you could shine a light on how forex is right now, because this is a forex trader. How is business?
Business is moving on well. Yeah, okay, at the beginning it's really hard, as you're starting as a business, but as you get more knowledge, as you get more experience, it becomes easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let us even first pin it to Raphael here.
Yeah.
You are a great youth, I can just tell physically from your looks. And finding, something to do in line with the markets, how did it even, evolve?
All right, it started, for me it started when I wanted to do some work, and I went on to venture into online business to look for what to do because as a senior FOVACist, I had nothing to do most of
Which year was it by then when you were speaking of senior FOVACist? We may refer to it as very current.
Yeah, it's pretty current.
Okay.
And as I went on, because I've known trading for about 3 years, but then actively trading I started in 2020.
2020.
Yeah,
Active trading.
Yeah, because I didn't know the nitty-gritties. I was just gambling, let me say. Yeah. But,
Okay.
when it came to 2020 lockdown, you didn't have anything to do, so I decided to concentrate on it because it was one of the easiest ways to get in touch with people. You go on
In my mind,
WhatsApp.
it was like one of the easiest ways to get money, is
Yeah.
it?
Because now you be on WhatsApp in lockdown and even the WhatsApp gets boring. So I used to turn to trading, get to know some lessons. Yeah, and that's how I met Mr. Marcelino.
Yes, we have a trading expert here, Mr. Makune Marcelino, and very well. He's often on the screen. Surely don't miss out at 2 p.m. right here. And now we're going to be speaking about money as a monetary value, as an economic status that actually can determine a lot of things. I know some people watching us, and from me, we know it as something means of transaction. Is there any other way that in your world, because you're in I can say trading world, that you define it? You define this value or set?
Yeah, according to Forex. But before we go to Forex, you talked of financial markets. Most people may not understand what financial markets are, and for some people they may take it as just Forex trading.
Okay.
But financial markets, it's actually a wide topic whereby you have different types of markets within the financial market. That includes the stock markets, that includes the capital markets, which are the equities, that includes the bonds, not the car bonds, but these are bonds where...
bonds, these are the bitcoins now.
No.
Okay.
The bitcoins, now that's a crypto market.
Okay.
A different type of market. For the bonds, it's usually between the lender and the borrower. That's an agreement.
Okay.
Yeah, for the
okay,
stocks, it's you buy shares. Okay,
I
buy
get
stock.
the bonds where now the country goes when it is in overwhelming over its public debt, where it goes for in the bond to get money.
Yeah.
We get that.
So that is basically, it's also referred to as a debt market. There's a futures market, so we come in as a Forex market. So when we go into Forex, money is defined as how money is flowing, the strength of the currency based on the economy of the country at that particular time and day. Because today the US market, like the US dollar, can be up, then the next day it can be down.
Even the next hours, actually.
Yes, next hour.
Because it changes around the country here. It changes after 6 hours. Okay.
Yeah. For some, they change. If you are to monitor the Forex Bureau guys, they change hourly. They change the rates hourly for some. Yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to be looking today at Forex markets into the financial markets, and we've got a Forex trader here, Raphael. And now let us dive into Forex. Please make the viewer understand what are Forex markets.
Yeah, Forex is actually a short form to represent foreign exchange.
Okay.
It's a foreign exchange market, that's the full form. And when we talk of foreign, we refer to two countries. Foreign.
2 countries.
Yeah. That's
Making
according
it
to
Forex.
the Oxford. No. Forex is actually a short form for the whole general, because imagine me telling you I'm a foreign exchange trader. It would be a little bit wide.
Okay.
So I'd rather say I'm a Forex trader, so to make it short.
Okay.
So, of course, exchange involves, now since we have talked of 2 countries, now we're exchanging currencies between those 2 countries because we are dealing with currency pairs. That's where the currency pair thing comes in. For those who don't know currency pairs, it is when Uganda wants to exchange Ugandan shillings to US dollars. So in the process of exchanging, that is when the pair is formed.
Pairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then obviously the market, this is where now you participate in the buying and the selling of that pair. Take an example, I want to buy $100 from you. I'll come with my 370,000 and I give it to you and you give me $100.
So there I'm participating into the market.
Yes.
Exchanging hugely.
It can be huge, it can be little. Even, okay, forex trading may not necessarily be online. Even the bonds, okay, like the banks, for the forex bureaus, they actually do forex trading, but in a more, let me say, slow pace. But now when it comes to online, when you have a broker, and this is the one that links you to the actual market, where you get the actual rates of that moment. Because I can say right now, when you go to the bank, you will see the forex rate may be at 3,750, but in the actual market at this moment, it can be at 3,740 right now.
Okay.
So they have to do their updates hourly or even 15 minutes.
And what determines the market that you're talking about? What determines the rate at which a dollar trades, or a shilling, or the different currencies? What determines these markets?
So basically, when we talk of currencies, we talk of the economies of the country. And what determines the strength of that currency is the economy, how well the economy is doing. We can talk of employment in a way that if there is a good employment in a country, there is good production. And once good production is there, there are a lot of products being released, and so people would want to buy. Take an example of iPhone releasing a phone, like their phones. People would want to exchange their currencies for the dollars in order to purchase the iPhone. And in that process, the price at that time goes up. Okay, gains strength, and let me say in that.
The price for the iPhone.
No.
Or the price of
price for the dollar. Because we're talking of
because the product is on demand, making the price increase.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that.
Then we also have interest rates of banks in a way, because what I'm talking about are news events, high impact news events. So when you talk of interest rates, it would be hard for someone to take a loan from a bank. Let me say an investor wants to invest a $1 billion project, has a $1 billion project and wants to get a loan from a bank, and he finds that the interest rates are high. That means it would be hard for him to get a loan. He would first wait for them to become low. So when the interest rates are high, the strength actually reduces. Because once money is in circulation, that's when it is improving on the market. In due time, this man who will have got a $1 billion project and he has got the loan of $1 billion at a low price, he will have to pay back the interest rates, thus increasing the strength of the market.
Where he's paying to
the bank.
Okay, that means, where does it leave, for example, if they're paying to the Bank of Uganda, where does it leave the shilling now?
Back to the shilling. In terms of the shilling, I can say now we have let me say products that we are selling as DFCU, Umeme, exporting. Or let me say tourism. So in terms of tourism, when the tourism is high, we expect our gross domestic product to
increase. Yes, please.
So as it increases, the strength of the currency, Ugandan shilling, also is going to increase, because people are exchanging dollars for Ugandan shillings. So the more people hold the Ugandan shillings, the more the strength increases. This is why you see countries like the US having a high value, because it's being used all over the country. Because you can go to China and they will say, no, for us you don't exchange Ugandan shillings. First convert them to US dollars, then you convert them to Japanese yen, because we don't have any pair that can link Ugandan shillings directly.
I get the pair strength now. We've got the strength of the pair. That means, if am I right to say or to think, in case maybe we're going to China and there is maybe a particular area that is pairing Ugandan shillings, that means our value this way increases.
Yeah, it increases.
Okay, that means it's not happening. I mean, our value is not, has never beat the dollar, has never gained. That means it's not happening.
It's
Am
not
I right?
happening, but we can improve on the commodity market, because the commodity market includes the sugar, the coffee, the tea.
Are you saying the exports?
Yes, the exports.
Okay.
Okay, we increase on the exports. The more we export, the more we we expose the Ugandan shilling.
Okay.
Not only to the world, but then you can start in East Africa, because if you were to go to Kenya and they would allow you to buy a product using Ugandan shillings, it would be a positive impact to the economy, because the strength of economy is determined by, like I said, the gross domestic product (GDP) and also the external how can
Transactions
I put it? The
or
external
market engagements?
Okay, yeah, external market engagements. Yeah, because it's not just one particular thing.
Okay, make me understand, because you're just saying in case I'm trading from Kenya and there is a place or a space for the shilling in Kenya, how is it transferred back to Uganda? And then, but these transactions are happening in Kenya. How do we get, to know that particular value of what is happening in Kenya, in Uganda, in regards to Ugandan shilling? How is it, determined back to Uganda?
Yeah, so when you go to like the airport, for example, like the airport, or let me say the banks, once they accept a certain currency, there is a way also the banks link to the actual market.
Okay.
Because, like I said, when the banks release a report about interest rates about a specific currency, it affects it in a way that it's either going to be positive or not positive. So when a Ugandan currency is accepted, let me say in Kenya, and I can easily trade with the Ugandan currency in Kenya.
We're talking about the shilling now.
The shillings, yes. It would be easy for me to, it will increase the productivity of the country, the economy.
Uganda's economy, right?
Yes, which is good. Then for countries which don't accept Ugandan shilling because it's of low value compared to theirs, they wouldn't take it as much of an emphasis, because you would need to they would need to export, like import, like buy, let me say, get money from the Bank of Uganda, transport it all the way there, and they exchange the money, because the more we sell them our cash in exchange for theirs, there's a way it affects the market. How can I put it? Take an example. Let me say US, you're going to the US, and the US accepts, it has a pair whereby you can freely trade Ugandan shillings to US dollar before you're in Uganda, back when you're in that side. And when you get there, the US dollar would call, let me say, Bank of Uganda and say, I would want you to give us, let me say.
Do they make calls, actual calls?
Yeah.
Per transaction?
Yeah.
That happens around there, or it's systematic?
It's usually systematic, like bank transfer. But
because I was looking at every time someone is transacting and then calls are happening, I think it's systematic.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But when you're on the other side, you need hard cash. So they will need to also transport the hard cash.
Okay.
So, like the way you'd see these banks getting those security vans to transport cash from bank to bank, or let me say Bank of Uganda transporting cash from bank to bank, that is what happens when you're transferring cash from.
Okay.
And once the Bank of Uganda registers that the US has got, we have sold our Ugandan shillings to the US, that means it is going to increase the value of Ugandan shillings, because now we are selling our currency, because now the currency becomes a product to the US.
Okay.
And once other countries embrace,
we get that. I think you have really explained that, Raphael. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And now let me take you back to forex trade, not forex trading, foreign exchange. Exchanging, from US dollar or currency exchange. What has been your observation as Ugandans in regards to the adoption of, you know, exchanging these rates? Waliwo abantu I don't know, do you otegera Oluganda?
Yes.
Abagamba ebyo byabagagga. Basically, like when you tell someone, you know, ngenda kutuusa esente, I'm going to exchange some money, you know, how, I don't know what even comes through their mind. Like, what has been your observation?
Okay, for us Ugandans, we're a bit slow to embrace like what is happening in the world. You know, we have gone through the COVID season, and some people has opened their eyes to diversify their investments. And one of the ways to invest is through investing in the financial market. That means getting stocks. It can include getting bonds, getting commodities. For some people, the ones I've seen, they do it manually. By manual, I mean they go buy.
I go to the Forex. I have done that. You're speaking about some people like me.
Yeah.
I do that. I do it manually. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the most adopted.
Yeah, that's the most
If
adopted.
I'm not deceiving, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now there is nothing like leverage or anything. It's just plain. So you would buy your, let me say, $100, and when it's at low price, now it's at 500. Then you keep it until it reaches, let me say, 4,000. So your profit there of $100 would be 500, and that would be okay. Let me say money saved or money invested, which you can also apply for the bonds, for the stocks, because once the company, now like you invest in a company like Stanbic, which is one of the registered companies in the Ugandan Stock Exchange, and let me say that stock, that price is about 200,000. It's not the actual price.
200.
It's not the actual price.
Okay.
I'm just giving an example.
Okay.
Rough example.
Okay.
People would run to buy. But take an example, it's at 200, and then their productivity increases because you are based on their background, and you have seen that they're really improving, and that they have a bigger goal. And then 3 years down the road, their price is now at 900,000. So for you, it would be a huge profit because you invested when it is at a low price.
I understand that. I have experienced something. I went to exchange that particular money, and then I had folded my dollar. And are they called tellers? Are they?
Teller.
Todamu, folding a dollar, todamu, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. They almost, refuse to work on me.
Yeah.
What is that?
For them, they have their
Like
policy.
I had folded it, and they say you have to keep it very straight. If you have any money, whether it's a Kenyan shilling, whether it's any shilling, okay. I think apart from the Ugandan shilling,
yeah.
for us, even if we fold, I mean, if you can share with us what's the difference and the impact of money handling during exchange.
So when we look at money, like let me say, can I remove?
Yes, please, show us. we have got a forex trader there. I mean, please.
So I remove it.
Yes, please.
So
Can even demonstrate.
Now we have
exactly
a
that kind of fold.
20,000 shilling. As you can see, it gets old with time.
Don't mind, we will sometimes.
So it gets old with time.
Okay.
So
This is old, actually, Raphael.
it's old. So with the dollars, they actually, these forex bureau guys know that people buy the dollars in order to keep them, and then for future investments, just like an investment opportunity for them. So if you keep them straight, it's going to reduce on the at the rate at which they're going to get old. And also,
if you keep it straight like this, so you keep it in your wallet straight as this.
Yeah, or an envelope.
Okay. Okay.
Then it's going to help them, especially when they're verifying the dollar, because there's some people who do fraudery, and for us we may not have the techniques of identifying that. Now the Ghana shilling is easy to identify because we are used to them. Everyone, you can easily look in the, you can lift it up.
Everyone just looks, okay, how do I identify even the Uganda shilling? I look at this line.
Yeah,
I mean,
that line. Then also
This is our tradition. I mean, how true is it even as we get back onto that particular issue on that? Like we have this laning here, the silver laning. This is what most people refer as whether fake money or not fake money. But I have seen fake money having this same silver laning. How do we even determine it?
So these guys have a UV light. Mostly it's blue in color, but then it's ultraviolet. In that currency, if you view it in the UV light, it brings in certain patterns, okay, like hair-like patterns in the note, which verifies that it's authentic.
Okay.
So if you fold it, it may bring that impression that this money is not real, or you're trying to hide something.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be easy for them to identify.
Okay, let me fold for them. So I went to that forex trade. This is a straight one. Yeah. So I had folded my money like this. I remember it was $1, 100. So I was folding it like this. Newano, nanti. Sentence of passing. And then giving the person was irritated. Yeah. Like I didn't know what to do. I was not having any idea, and I know you may also be having no idea about even what we're talking about. Like
true.
You didn't even know whether when you fold a dollar or a foreign currency, actually it has got impact on the value that you're getting. Please, Raphael, take it back. You will be having an impact, like you were saying there. At what I can say, what rate does it reduce the value?
It does not reduce
that particular fold.
When you fold, it doesn't reduce the value, because the value of the money is determined by the digit that is put on it.
That means because he told me actually you're reducing the value. You're reducing. I don't know.
Okay, it was in turn referring to reducing the quality.
Quality. Okay.
Because if you look at a new US dollar, unfortunately, I was unable to get one.
Okay. Next time you bring for us.
Yeah. So you'll see that it is a little bit firm, because there's a difference between the US dollar for the euros. Let me say the London, they're usually plastic. Usually plastic. So that's why for the London, it's easy for them not to. Okay, once you fold them, anything can degrade.
Okay, how do we keep this money safe for further manual transaction? Because I know most of the people actually do manually, who are saying. Advise them on how they can keep them safe, and then we take a break shortly.
I believe you get your envelope, like a straight envelope. You put your money in and you keep it, like, let me say, out of the reach of maybe children.
Rats.
Rats don't eat money.
Rats don't eat money?
Yes.
Which rats are you talking about? Rats do eat money. They chop the money. I have had stories. I mean, I have not experienced one before, as in rats eating up the money, but friends have had it. So I'm speaking from friends' perspective that actually, and Raphael, rats eat money.
So that may be a problem, because now once you go to exchange it, they may.
Okay, maybe you can put it in an envelope, then you put it in a big box. Right.
You can also, you can do the put it in a piggy bank. But for me, what I do is you get the money, put it in an envelope, and hang it like the way you'd hang a cloth. Yeah.
But someone was arguing that why should we keep money, like plain papers, plain money, or this money that we're talking about, and yet there are continuous printing of other money? I mean, why should I save money in papers or coins?
Yeah.
In safe box or under my bra or under the bed? Why should we do that? And yet money continues to be printed continuously.
Yeah, so
how can you argue with that?
The printing of money increases on inflation.
Okay.
Because once money is printed, it reduces the value of that currency. So that's why even you get to see that sometimes the dollar is up, sometimes the dollar is down. So when it gets down, that means one way or another, one of the effects maybe would have been that they have printed more dollars. And also print like new currency, because once you look at your note, you will see 2019, that's the year it was printed.
Sure.
Yeah.
I have never observed that. Please help us.
It's usually
Babu Shakira, have you ever realized that there is a year on money, on the note.
Yeah.
And I know some people have never. I have never, honestly. This is something new.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a 20,000, and actually right here in the corner at the bottom there is 2015. So you're holding old money. This was printed in 2015. Okay, this is something new that I'm learning about money today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, that means there is a year on
There's a
every
year.
coin.
So that year,
Is that even on the coin? On the coin?
also on the coins, it's there.
Okay.
The
At
time-
least I've seen 2001 on
Yeah.
coins.
Yeah,
Okay.
even 2019. I've seen some of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah. So the year it was printed, there's a way it reduces the value of the market. I mean, of the note. But the best thing to do for, especially living in the 21st century, is not to keep, is to put it in a place which can appreciate. May not be that much, but at least if you are to save your money, you could invest it in something that can appreciate. It can be 1% a month. It can be even in a bank, fixed deposit. It can still work for you.
Okay, very well.
Yeah.
I'm with Raphael Chisache, who is taking us through the value of money in financial markets, and we are specifically looking at forex trades around financial markets. We do take a break. We do return looking at the impact of printed money, or the impact of money circulation actually into the economy, and more onto financial markets. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business.
4 minutes past 9 in the morning, and we're still into a very insightful discussion with Raphael Chisache, who is a forex trader, and we're talking about the value of money in financial markets. Before we took a break, he was telling us and sharing with us how actually investing engaging in investments can help shillings appreciate. I mean, what is even appreciation? If you could tell the public, or for the public to understand what you're meaning by appreciation, depreciation.
Okay. Appreciation means increase of value. Depreciation means decrease of value.
Of that money,
Yeah.
money value.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, take an example of land. Land appreciates in value, while the car you buy depreciates in value. In that you buy...
When I buy a car, I'm depreciating
Its
money.
value.
Its value. What value? Of the shilling?
Of the car. Okay, like of the currency, because
Of the currency, I
Yeah.
mean. Okay.
Because if you
How?
have to buy-
But I'm exchanging with I'm making business. Like, okay, you're the seller of the car I want. I have the money. I come and buy it from you.
yeah,
You mean I'm not adding value?
that you are doing trade. I'm giving you a product, and you're giving me...
I'm doing trading.
Yeah,
The shilling is depreciating.
it's not depreciating at that moment,
Okay.
because the factors that influence a currency to appreciate and depreciate are based on our companies,
Okay.
like DFCU, Stanbic, Uganda Clays, their performance, and as they say, gross domestic product. That means generally, if you're combining the tourism industry, how is it working? If you combine the music, let me say, I don't know, it does it, but then
Just like to highlight for you, gross domestic product, GDP. This is the money a country gets per annum. That is
Yeah, per
yearly. What do you bring in? It's like a country's salary, or if I can put it that way for
Yeah.
us to understand.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So those are some of the factors that cause the currency to appreciate
Or depreciate. Okay.
But the example I was giving of land and cars was just to give people a view of how something can appreciate or depreciate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were telling us earlier, instead of keeping that money in
Yeah.
under the bed or mattress, I have to invest it.
Yeah. Yeah, we're living in the 21st century where saving at the moment may not necessarily be saving hard cash may
Yes,
not
hard
necessarily
cash.
may not necessarily be a solution, because there are very many
I'm
opportunities.
saving for school fees. I'm saving. We have a lot of arguments towards our hard cash saving,
Yeah,
saving for school fees. I'm saving for my health. I'm saving for. I mean, how can you convince us that saving hard cash is really not worthy?
Yeah, okay. When you talk of savings, I view it in a perspective of I'm going to invest.
Okay.
When you save to spend, that's not a saving. That is more like you're saving to spend, which is not going to add
Oh
value to you.
God, they're tapping onto someone.
Yeah.
Saving to spend.
Yeah.
Because I literally save to spend. I'm being honest. I'm being honest. I don't want to lie, and I need help. That's why you're here. Please help us. Please help some women out there who save to spend. I'm saving to spend. Honestly, I'm not saving to look at the investment. I'm saving to spend because I think I have a lot of responsibilities coming by. So I'm saving for them.
Yeah.
How bad is that?
It is bad in a way that if you are to save, let me say 1 million, you're going to spend it on, let me say, what you would want to spend
Yes,
on your
I'm
budget.
going to buy
Your
stuff.
budget. You're going to buy stuff. But remember, those stuff also appreciate in value. Take an example of meat. In 2017, meat was about 10,000. If you go a year, 2012, it was about 7,000. But right now, 2021, it's about
A kilogram
17,
is
15,
yes.
15 and above. So that shows that the products that we are saving for are instead increasing in price. So if you are to invest that money, it will help you, give you security in that even if they appreciate, your money is still appreciating, so you can easily purchase them at your convenience. But when you save to spend, let me say I'm saving for a TV screen. It's about 700,000
As we speak.
And then
By the
I'm
time
saving.
you go
I'm
to
saving.
buy?
By the time I go to buy, maybe that particular screen might have depreciated.
Very.
So
Ngeweddeko n'okugwako.
but then now you are seeing, this one is now off the what? Off the mulembe, let me say.
Omulembe guweddeko.
So I want now the HD 4K screen. You would find it still at 700. Let me say 800. Actually, just appreciates, because the more generation technology increases, the more the price. So I would buy it at, let me say, 800,000. I bought my TV. I'm happy because I've got the TV. Everyone is happy.
You feel
I'm
satisfied.
getting good. Yeah.
I'm driving. Yes.
Yeah. But 10 years down the road, you would use that TV to get a loan as a security. So if you look at it, are you spending, are you saving to get a liability, or are you saving to get an asset?
An asset, very well. And if you could help us, Raphael, on how we can get assets.
Yeah.
Let us talk about assets, not liabilities, because liabilities are expiring, all the time.
Yeah.
Like what are some of these assets that we can look out for in this 21st century, like you pointed out?
Yeah, and in the 21st century, we are blessed to have internet. Everything is on the phone, like at your fingertips. Information is always at your fingertips. Yeah, we no longer have to now travel to the US to get certain qualifications. Actually, COVID even has made people graduate with masters, PhDs online.
Graduated online.
Yeah, graduating online. So with internet, there are a lot of opportunities. First of all, we have the Forex exchange market, whereby you can be an investor or an active trader. Either two can work. Then there is also investing in other markets like crypto markets, investing in other markets like stocks. We have the Ugandan stock market, which is doing well compared to, though we are overshadowed by the Kenyan and the Rwandan and the Tanzanian. But if you look at the Ugandan stock market, its figures show that it's on a steady increase, in that it's increasing about, I think, 20% per annum, which is good for Ugandan economy, in that in the future 10 years, if you have to invest in a company like Uganda Clays, you can get something out of it. And of course, some people like Facebook, you can use that as an asset. People use
Facebook as an asset.
Yeah, because you are going to earn money off it. An asset is what brings money to your pocket.
Okay.
You can use YouTube as an asset. Most people quit their jobs to be full-time YouTube bloggers, and they earn good money. Yeah, there's one who does real estate. I don't know, but then yeah, she's a lady. But
then a liability. What does a liability do?
A liability is basically what takes money out of your pocket.
Okay, takes money. An asset brings money. Okay, this is where I want us now to help people out there watching us, Raphael, because I don't want us to talk as if we're talking Twogera Kubagaga. We're talking about crypto, saving on crypto, going to trade.
Yeah.
How can they really tap into these opportunities? Nemitwalo janga asatu. I feel like 300,000 is a lot for me.
Yeah.
Like I am saving it, I want to really save it for something, and here you come, because we're now not wanting to save hard cash.
Yeah.
Because it's going, to get outdated. Even the things I'm yearning for will be outdated. Help me save. Let us begin with 300,000. How can 300,000 be optimized among the opportunities you just said?
Yeah, I'm going to, for 300,000.
And then I get value afterwards.
Out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, because from my experience, I can say not everybody would go for forex trading, and not everybody would do the active.
For crypto?
No, everybody would go for crypto. Not everybody would go for stock. But you can find what can best suit you as your personality, because there are people. We are now having YouTube influencers, like social media influencers, and these people earn money from brands. Now you start with your 300,000. You look at your style of life. Maybe you can invest in stock, because for stock you have to invest for years. By years, I don't mean I'm
The
not
experience I've
discouraging.
had with stock, when I had a conversation a bit with Marcelino, as if you have to keep putting in money, putting their money. As if when you put the 300 there, you have to keep on adding. If you don't add, maybe they're cutting off. There are no interests. I mean,
The beauty about the stock,
okay.
the beauty about the stock is that you're buying stocks from a company. Take an example, you're buying a stock from, let me say S24, that has been listed in the Ugandan Stock Exchange as a brand, like the way you see CNN and all. If I'm to buy a stock from S24 at 50,000, it would be wise for me to get as many shares as I can
In
because-
S24.
in S24, because I see it has in future it's going to pay off. I can give an example of, if you know Tesla.
Yes, please.
Yes, before its share price was about $50, way below that. But now when you check online, its stock price is well above $500. So if someone bought it at $50 per stock before it went public, okay, when it went public it was about $200. Then $200 is about 700,000 per stock. Of course, you can also buy your stock at,
That's great.
yeah. So if you have to see it now, it's all over 1,000, over 500. So
It goes on increasing
based on the
value.
performance of the company and the productivity. Because the more people buy Tesla cars, the more money the company gets and the more payout. Because you invest in stock, you're going to get your payout at the end of a year, at the end of a given period. Yeah.
I get that very well, and it's still not, promising to someone. Like I see Montagala saving, okay, the 300, for example, was still on 300, and then next month they are saving for like 2 months to come. At least he or she puts up a stall to sell some of the product. Isn't that rewarding?
Yep. Okay.
Investing in products, how do you rate it?
You can invest in products. That's basically starting a business.
Trading, selling and buying.
Investing.
Basically selling.
Oh, okay, yeah. Investing in products, like because products, I take it as a commodity.
Commodities.
Yeah. So when you invest in a commodity, let me say, for farming, investing in our
Agricultural commodities.
coffee, investing in our sugar. Yeah, you get a company that actually deals in that.
Okay.
And let me say, Kakira. You go check it out on the stock exchange. At least if it is there, then you invest with the guidance that will be given to you. Then for actual products, physical products, like you yourself, that one I take it more like you're starting your own business. Yeah. So when you're investing, yeah, depends on you what you would like, because once you get involved in business, because this financial market is usually about business profits at the end of the day. Which product are you going to offer? You look at your target market, your demographics, let me say. Then you look at how you're going to get them, your marketing plan, your strategy plan, your vision, your mission, your goals, your objectives. And those are the things that you should put into consideration, because some people's objectives may not run for 10 years. They may run for 6 months.
Okay.
So
okay.
Investing in, let me say, something like stock may be a little bit hard. For them, investing in something like cryptocurrency may be a little bit, how they call it, heart racing, because you put in, there's one time
You have pressure.
yeah, there's one time I put in $50, then it went all the way down. That was in Bitcoin. And I was like, what happened? But then a few months later, it came back to the same price. I was like, I'm not taking any chances. Let me get my money out.
Okay.
I got it out. It went higher. So I was like, I missed the price. I missed that opportunity. So basically, you need to also have some knowledge based on what you're going to do,
Okay.
based on what you're going to invest. Because if you don't have that knowledge, okay, if you don't have the reason, that is the why factor, you may easily get out when.
And the why is because my friends are working, I'm not working, I'm sitting. I need something to do.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that's the pressure you're saying. We end up, going astray.
Yeah. Okay, from my experience, I can say you end up leaving a golden opportunity.
Okay.
Not realizing what it would have brought. But if you had the why factor that, okay, I'm investing basically because I want it, and because I've seen its background, how it has grown. You have done background checks. You have done those errands. You have studied and you have seen that its vision is almost in line with your objectives. So invest, and then most people are happy with Bitcoin at the moment because I invested when it was at 3,000, because I invested it was at 5,000, it went to 3,000, then it went back. Now it's at 40 plus.
So now it's increasing. Thank you, Raphael.
Yeah.
And from what you were speaking, I pick out as if you had a lot of I can say experience, bad or good, regardless. What are those some of the highlights in your experiences in regards to trading that you can share with us? Maybe there is one or two that we can learn from and take note.
Yeah, so I can share from the very first, let me say, bad experience. Yeah, bad experience would be when I got dollars. Got dollars, saved them.
Had dollar? Had cash?
Manual trading.
Okay.
Because I had a friend, we were having a savings group, and these guys gave us ideas of how to invest in dollars, and you see the price improving. Yeah? And I was like, okay, yeah, that can be good for me. So I went for it. And I got my dollars, kept them, very happy. Reaching there, it's 3,000. Bought them at I think 2.5, somewhere there.
That was cheap.
2.8, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm like, yeah, now I got money. I got there.
That is always the feeling we'd be having when we're going to those forex trading, forex exchange, exchange shops.
Yeah. So I go there, and they tell me the currency is outdated.
Okay.
So I'm like, but sincerely speaking, this is
the
original.
currency is outdated. Which currency? The one,
US
the US dollar you were holding.
I was holding, yeah.
Okay.
It was outdated because for the US dollars, they usually do maintenance checkups. They change basically because it's a popular currency used all over the world, and there's a lot of fraudery going around with the US dollar.
Okay.
And this brings me back to the point of you shouldn't fold, because most people, they check for those little details that are there. And because it's run by so-called drug cartels, okay, the wrongdoers made me say, they usually forge the money. So in order to safeguard their currency, they have to...
They keep interchanging?
Yeah.
But
just
for the US dollar, to me, which years are you talking about?
I think 2012 there.
As if it's been the same, like when I look at the US dollar, the paper.
It may look the same.
Okay.
But because we are in Uganda, we're not in constant contact with the US dollars.
Okay.
The only time you get in contact with them, let me say for us, the manual traders who don't usually go abroad, we usually get it from the Forex Bureau. You look at it, yes, this is it.
I feel fine, this is it.
Yeah, so you go. By the time you come back, years after,
so they tell you it's outdated. How was that feeling even? Did you even accept? I mean, I can't accept.
I looked at the man, I tried to reason out logically, but what do you mean? What is this?
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah, he said, okay, at one point they gave out a notice that they're going to change money, so within that time you have to first bring that money and then to exchange it for the real, for the new currency. So I was all there frustrated, saying, now why didn't I get the news? So that's why I said, if you're not in constant feedback, like most people may not watch CNN to see the report of how they have changed it. But we're used to our local channels, Smart 24.
Very.
Yeah.
And moving on to that particular one, now let us look at safety over this money. Yesterday I was checking out, and I found out that CNN was highlighting actually that hackers stole $600 million in what may be the biggest cryptocurrency theft in history. This happened yesterday in US, when hackers stole $600 million. I don't know if you have encountered that report as of yet, but how safe are these cryptos? I mean, where can hackers go? How safe are this? You know, you're pushing us to stock, you're pushing us to crypto, you're pushing us to, I don't know, but we're seeing hackers everywhere. How safe? Where do we derive our trust from?
It depends. Actually, I would say the wallets, because when you talk of crypto, crypto means encrypted, hidden. So basically, it's hard for someone to find it unless they have the details of your account.
So you mean it's an inside job?
Yeah, I can say it's an inside job. Let me say someone created a fake account, let me say fake platform to exchange dollars. So in the process of people getting familiar with it and using that platform, they ended up taking the money.
Okay.
Because, from my knowledge, I can say it's kind of hard to decrypt something. Like, let me say crypto.
When it's very hidden.
Yeah, it is decentralized. It's not on one. It's not on one server. It's decentralized.
Okay.
And yes, of course, blockchain right now is being improved in order to safeguard people from such occurrences to happen again. Because even some of the most safest banks, like the Swiss bank, there was a report where they stole about 3 billion in just one night from the Swiss bank, and this is the safest bank in the world. But how comes something happened with hackers? So with hackers evolve every day, and they find new opportunities, new ways of how to hack something out. Even the FBI has hacked at one point, which is regarded as one of the highly secured security agencies in the world.
Okay, we take it as an inside for now. In quotes, allegedly. But also, as we are concluding, you know, someone wants to know if the country uses a lot of foreign currency like dollar, how does it affect our money? I think you answered that a bit earlier, but maybe you can still throw a light on that. Have you gotten the question? Like, if a country uses a lot of foreign currency like dollars, how does it affect our money?
I think
it's meaning how does the US dollar affect the shilling if it's in saturation, highly saturated.
It really depreciates the currency.
It depreciates it.
Yeah, because
and please also combine it with the impact of money circulation in the economy as we are concluding, Raphael.
Yeah.
What is the impact of money circulation in the economy? And you also bring it in as in.
Let me first answer the question.
Okay.
It depreciates the currency of that nation because people do not. It's not stable. It's not stable. In that
the shilling is not stable.
Yeah, it's not stable. It indicates that there's an instability in the shilling, because now in Uganda currently, if you want to buy a high-end product, let me say an apartment, they would say this is about $250,000 US. Instead of it being in the Ghanaian shillings. So,
and that is the way, I think that's what we are even taking.
Yeah, and one of the safest investments usually for let me say the big people, the investors, the real estate developers, is usually real estate.
Okay.
Real estate developing and construction. So once we get such a thing, and they are referring to
a US
safety net
dollar
as a mode of exchange, it really obviously depreciates the currency.
To me, I see it even as a disrespect, sorry to cut you short, because even when we go online, buying online, most of the highlights, they are in US dollars. I mean, why?
Yeah, basically, they for them, they take it that US dollar is actually safe. It's a safe currency for them, especially for them, it's the African market. It's a safe currency because it's easily exchangeable. There's no way you can go and they say, for us to not exchange US dollars. There's nowhere. But there are places where you would go and then they'll say, here, we don't allow Ugandan shillings, convert your money to US dollars, then. So that may be the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying it depreciates the shilling.
Depreciates the shilling.
How about too much? Is that the same with too much money? Is that even English correct? No. I mean, circulation of money.
They didn't realize.
Yes, like the circulation of money in a certain country. How does it impact the economy? Whether hard cash, especially hard cash. Like you said earlier that, you know, there is inflation.
Yeah, inflation actually is not only caused by printing of notes, it can also be caused by the productivity of the country. Take an example of, it revolves around supply and demand.
Okay.
The higher the demand, the higher the what? The value. The lower the demand, the lower the value. The higher the supply, it revolves around there, and the interest rates also are within that supply and demand.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, once you said impact of
The impact of money circulation towards the economy.
So once money is being circulated, based on, let me say in Uganda, and there's a demand for, let me say, US dollar, it's going to affect the Ugandan shilling, because if you're in Uganda and there's a demand for a US dollar, the supply is going to be too much, little. In that, it's going to be little for the Ugandan shilling. So that means the Ugandan shilling is going to depreciate, and the demand, since the demand is high, we are going to just bring in more dollars until the Ugandan shilling may not be of value for Ugandans. That's why.
So should we say that where the country is, as we are concluding, should we say that where the country is, okay, what should be the worry? Because when I look at US dollars being highlighted online on the products we're buying, when I see now the value that it's taking onto real estate, where should we worry, or what should be the worry of a shilling as we're concluding, Raphael?
I believe it is a responsibility for us as Ugandans to really showcase, like to build the Ugandan shillings based on the companies that we have, based on the products that we're giving, the commodities, the sugar, the export. If we are to focus on those, like even people now come in, because once you talk of financial markets, it diversifies the risk economy in the world, in that some people are going to invest in stock, some people are going to invest in the commodities sector, that is farming, let me say, and then some people are going to invest in the stocks, that they are going to invest in the companies, cryptos, but as people are doing that, because that's how the US, let me say, developed, because for them they're diversified.
Okay, I think we really get that.
Yeah, that improved the health of their economy.
Very well, and surely time cannot really, allow us or be on our side to diversely explain. All we have to do is at least give you what we can, and for this particular one brings us to the end of our discussion. 31 minutes past 9 in the morning. I have been with Raphael Chisache, who is a forex trader, and we were discussing on the value of money and how it's actually impacting financial markets. And our theme was financial markets, and it will be coming your way every Friday from 8:30 to 9:30. Coming up is Joram Pusonko with Sports in Business. Good morning.
Smart 24, driving business. Smart 24, driving business. All right, then now we have 37 minutes past 9 a.m. in the morning today, and it's a Friday, and we are definitely riding into our sports segment here on Smart Means Business. It's that moment in time where we head into the sports business. My name is Jerome Paul Sonko. Now let's dive into our sports news, but first we shall dive into the local updates. We do start with Joshua Cheptegei, as Joshua Cheptegei Training Center and the museum seeks 1.7 billion for completion. That is 1.7 billion Uganda shillings for completion. Now, 3 years ago, in November 2018, Joshua Cheptegei procured land as big as 30 acres in his native home area of Kapchora and started the construction of the high altitude training center that was named after him. Now, by August 2021, days after winning the Olympic gold and silver in the 5,000 meters and 10,000 meters respectively, the center is at 60% of the completion. Now, on the 12th of August 2021, he officially launched the 100 days of the Joshua Cheptegei Training Center fundraising drive at Choga Hall of Kampala Serena Hotel. Now, the launch was also graced by the chairman of the Joshua Cheptegei Foundation, Alan Chekwech, as Anthony Kuka Cherotochi as the chairman, Rockman Safaris, and also Dr. John Mark Bwanika as the director of operations and projects of Rocket Health, and Martin Chemongos. Now, he politely called upon the countrymen and women to support the project that will not only benefit the local athletes but also the international visitors from elsewhere. And today, and as of today, they launched the 100 days public fundraising to drive 1.7 billion shillings towards the completion of this project. Now, the money will go towards the construction of a world-class hostel facility with fitness and other related equipment for athletes in the region and globally. And the center is already lifted with a good Olympic-sized track that is in good condition to enable athletes succeed at the regional and global events. Now, they also have a vision of first of its kind museum for Ugandan athletes that will continue to attract both tourists and teach the values and ethics of Ugandan athletes while authentically telling their stories. Now, they furthermore called upon people in Uganda and in the diaspora to cooperate as well as to the corporate companies and all well wishes to join in the drive to nurture the next generation of the runners in the country. Now, this one is also, this is in terms of, competition, and if we want to really compete amicably well at the world level, because we've been mentioning the fact that this time around Uganda did improve in the standings of the Olympics. That was the Tokyo 2020, and one may want to understand we had position number 2, and that is after Uganda walked away with 4 medals, 2 gold, 1 bronze, and 1 silver. But I think if at all the country still needs to have a number of gold medals or a number of medals at any Olympic Games, not only Olympic Games or at the athletics, at the international level, not only in athletics, but in other aspects of sport, I think the government should invest heavily into this, because Kenya is actually a step ahead when it comes to, inputting a lot of money into the sports sector, because they know what it means to promote talent, and they know the pride that Kenya gets when it comes to winning that particular one. I'm not speaking of the idea that our country is lagging behind in the aspect of athletics, but I'll definitely say the sports sector needs to first tap into the economic part of it, because now since 2018 the Joshua Cheptegei Training Center was expected to be at an 80% completion, but now they are raising 1.7 billion for a man who is only someone who's talented and does not have enough of these finances to set up this facility, a facility that is supposed to be also put input into a financial year for the sports. So I think the Minister of Sports should actually look into this particular matter when it comes to that. Now that brings us to the end of that particular story. We're now still in Uganda. The Uganda Floorball Association receives timely donation from Sweden. Now, the donated floorball equipment included 12 balls, 50 playing sticks, and 200 jerseys for both the shots and the shots. Now, the Uganda Football Floorball Association, that is the UFA, after receiving an assortment of equipment from a Swedish best board member, Robert Zimula. Now, the equipment that included 200 balls, 50 sticks, and 200 jerseys, that is both the skirts and shorts. Zimula, also the founding president of the game in Uganda, presented the equipment and donated to members of the Uganda Floorball Association that was led by President David Mugisha. Now, others in attendance were Moses Amanyire, who's the General Secretary, as well as Ibrahim Kidu, the national coach, and a couple of players, as the overjoyed players had an exhibition game to demonstrate to the media how the game goes about. Now, according to the president, they came out and said they are humbled for this donation that comes at an opportune timing, as they will surely help out respective clubs grow further as they plan internal competitions. Now, one may ask, what is floorball football? What is floorball? What is floorball? Not even football, but what is floorball as a sport? Those are some of the sports that have come on to evolve in the new eras of generations as generations come in, new generations come in. Now, floorball, for starters, is meant to be a truly unfacing game and enjoyable and affordable for everyone. Meanwhile, and to create enough space for creativity, that means many defensive actions are not allowed. It's supposed to be offensive, or if I am to put it right, it's supposed to be an open game. We do not expect a lot of fouls when it comes to the floorball, and it's a version of hockey, and but with fewer numbers, with a 5-a-side, and playing with a lighter ball, floorball stick on a ground of 40 times 20 meters, and in two halves, that is 23 minutes each. And the goalkeeper has no stick, unlike the other outfield players, and the stick must not be lifted above the knee for safety purposes. Now, in Uganda, the floorball clubs include, among others, TLC, Baghdad, Kawempe, Mandela Girls, Mandela College, Legacy Kings, and we have Legacy, we have Kings, Makerere University, Uganda Christian University, and Chisubi Mapera, Luwero, and Entebbe, among others. Now, if you want to understand what is floorball, it is basically it's like a mini hockey, but this time around we have 5 players on the pitch, 5 players on the ground of play. So that means the 5th player is the goalkeeper, but the other 4 are allowed to have sticks with them to play with a small ball. So it's all about moving on the floor with the ball holding a stick. So it's like a definition of hockey in a more redefined era as well. Now, that brings us to the end of what we have for you in the latest local sport here on Sports Business on Smart 24 TV. But just a quick reminder, tomorrow we have the finals of the Sekafa Kagame Cup. That is, Express FC will be taking on the KMKM of Zanzibar, and it's going to be one of an interesting match, because Express FC, the Kampala the Red Eagles out there, the club there, is actually in contention for this particular trophy, where we saw the title contenders and also defending champions Kampala City Council Authority bowing out at the quarterfinals. Now, we do expect a lot of challenges coming in from there, because Express FC does face a team that did eliminate Azam FC at the semi-finals. So we do wish them the best in Dar es Salaam, and we hope by the time they do return home, they have victory. Just a reminder as well that if they win the trophy, they walk away with $30,000 that is $30,000 as the full team, and also FUFA played the $25,000 for all the officials and the athletes, the athletes, that is the football players that are 21 in the team, and the 4 officials of Express FC that went with the club. So which means it adds up to a total of $1,000 to each player who is in Tanzania there with Express FC for the Sekafa Kagame Cup 2021. And Express FC if you'll excuse me, Express FC were the current league champions of the 2020-2021 season when it comes to the Uganda Premier League here and the local football here. And we hope by the time we return here on Monday to give you more updates regarding sports business here on Smart Men's Business, Express would have emerged victorious. So we do wish them well when it comes to that particular competition. And now let's head into what is happening in the international scene, where we have lots of news for you when it comes to the transfers. What has been trending and which teams have been making headlines. Just a quick reminder as well, the Premier League is set to start tonight with Friday Night Football. What a way to wait, and what a way we're going to watch again the joy of a number of football supporters as European leagues did start last week with the French League, but now a number is also starting up this very weekend, as today the English Premier League is starting up. But now let's start with Chelsea in the English Premier League, as Chelsea break club transfer record to re-sign striker from Inter Milan at £97.5 million. Now the money keeps on coming. Now the person we're talking about here is Romelu Lukaku Mboli, who returns to Chelsea after 10 years, and after he first joined the club before joining Everton. Now Chelsea, after resigning Lukaku, who initially moved to Stamford Bridge as a 17-year-old from Belgian side Anderlecht, that was in 2011, returns to Chelsea on a 5-year deal that sees him become the highest paid player at the club, earning £200,000 per week after tax. If you do some quick mathematics, that is some quite good numbers of millions if you are earning it as a Ugandan. Now, the fee for Belgium's record goal scorer surpasses the £75.8 million that was paid for Kai Havertz last summer when Chelsea got him from Bayer Leverkusen. Now, according to Lukaku, he came out and said, "I'm happy and blessed to be back at this particular club," as he told the club's website. "It's been a long journey for me. I came here as a kid who had a lot to learn. Now I'm coming back with a lot of experience and more mature. Now the relationship I have with this club means so much to me, as you know, and I have supported Chelsea as a kid, and now to be back and try to help them win more titles is an amazing feeling. Now the way the club is going to fits my ambition perfectly at 28 and just coming off winning Serie A. I think this opportunity comes at the right time, and hopefully we can have a lot of successes together." Well, now you see, when it comes to business, someone will actually say Chelsea, when it comes to business minding, this was quite a different angle, because Chelsea actually did sell Romelu Lukaku at a cheaper price to Everton. That was after he failed to fit into the formation at that time, and he actually was a bench player, and he could not get first class or first team play at Chelsea. That was when he was sold off to Everton, where he tremendously did a number of good things at Everton before joining Manchester United to the Red Devils, where he also had some interesting seasons there before he eventually went to Serie A with Inter Milan, and he did help them win the Serie A last season. But one of the questions that is still in the ground is what is happening to Inter Milan after losing their coach, that is Antonio Conte. Now they also have Lautaro Martinez, who is also on the market, as a number of teams want him out. That is Arsenal and Tottenham Hotspur looking as the favorites to sign the Argentine. Now Romelu Lukaku, a man who guided them to that particular trophy, has already left now to Chelsea. So one would ask, what is happening to Inter Milan? How are they going to defend the Serie A title that they have? First of all, they're also in some economic crisis as a team, and you could see that most of the teams in Italy and across Europe have got issues when it comes to that. So I think, as a matter of fact, to a number of teams that are facing issues with terms of the COVID situations when it comes to economic crisis, to rejuvenate themselves, a lot is happening. That's why most teams are letting go of their best players to earn some good money. We've seen Lionel Messi leaving to Paris Saint-Germain. That is because of the financial crisis at Barcelona, not fitting in the La Liga financial rules. That made that Lionel Messi could not continue at his childhood club. Now we've seen Romelu Lukaku is joining Chelsea. And we do expect a number of players to leave this summer, because this is actually making a shocker move when it comes to players leaving their current clubs to join other clubs. So the season is yet to be interesting for anyone interested in football, to any football supporter out there. All right, now, after Chelsea, let's stay with the signings meanwhile. But this time around, we wrap it up when it comes to the big signings for English Premier League clubs. From Grealish, Jadon Sancho, Romelu Lukaku, to the man of Arsenal and Mr. Ben White. Now, Manchester City, who finished 12 points clear at the top of last season, have shown they mean business again by spending a British record fee of 100 million to Aston Villa captain Jack Grealish. Now, we're looking at the top signings when it comes to the Premier League, this particular transfer market. Now, the fee surpasses, according to Manchester City, who have so far spent the highest fee on a single player this particular season. Now, the fee surpasses the 89 million pound of Manchester United that they paid to resign midfielder Paul Pogba in 2016 from Juventus. Now, in addition, City have indicated an interest in Tottenham striker Harry Kane as they aim to win the league for the fourth time in 5 seasons under Pep Guardiola. Now you could see Jack Grealish. Actually, Jack Grealish did come in on the same day Lionel Messi. The club of Barcelona made a statement that Lionel Messi would not continue with Barcelona, and most of them actually thought if at all Jack Grealish was not at Manchester City, then Lionel Messi was definitely heading to the Etihad. But surprisingly, Manchester City had to go into the bank to break that record of any signing in England because there is no English team has made a 100 million bid or has signed a player worth 100 million pounds. So Jack Grealish, that's coming as the most expensive Premier League player at the moment, and also the most expensive Englishman in any football club when it comes to signing. And now, meanwhile, with the summer transfer window or having a deadline that is at 11 p.m. British, that is 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, all the British Central Time on 31st August, clubs will have time to strengthen their squads once the season has started. So we still have 2 weeks when we have the transfer market still open. Now, Manchester United have also already signed England winger Jadon Sancho and are set to add France 20 International World Cup winning defender Raphael Varane at a combined 107 million for the two players. That is Raphael Varane, who came from Real Madrid, to Jadon Sancho, was formerly a player with Manchester City who left for Dortmund. Now he's now officially a Manchester United player there. Now, Jadon Sancho returned from Germany, having previously played for Manchester City, like I do mention, as Chelsea also splashed out a record £97.5 to strike to get striker Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan, as the Belgian did make his way, as well as Arsenal signed Brighton's England defender Ben White at £50 million, and as the Gunners look to improve on last season, is 8th place. Now, Liverpool, who gave Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez back in connection after long-term injuries, have added defender Ibrahima Konate from RB Leipzig at £35 million. And elsewhere, Villa have spent a combined £83 million on England striker Danny Ings, as Argentine midfielder Emiliano Buendia from Norwich, and winger Leon Bailey from Bayer Leverkusen. Now, Tottenham have signed Argentina defender Christian Romero from Atalanta for 42.5 million. As notable outgoings include Manchester City's Sergio Aguero, who did leave as a free agent to Barcelona, Chelsea's Olivier Giroud, who left to AC Milan in Italy, and Liverpool's Jorginho Wijnaldum, who did leave to Paris Saint-Germain there in PSG. Now, the season is set to start with close to capacity crowds, as you've definitely been seeing some of the pre-season friendlies that have been happening, and also the UEFA Super Cup, where we saw a number of teams having players in there and having spectators or crowds watching the games in there. And we do expect a number of crowds coming back to play. If I am to put it right, maybe around 70% of the stadium may be in contention to watch the Premier League games, as well as the top European clubs, as the 2021-2022 season is set to start with grounds close to full capacity. Now, except for any seating deemed to be close enough to the playing area and to fall into the red zone of the stadium. Now, meanwhile, the UK government is yet to decide whether to make it compulsory for fans to show proof of full vaccination from the end of September, as the top flight matches are set to be played at close to full capacity as we head into that particular Premier League. Now, reports have suggested proof could be required for events such as football matches with crowds of 20,000 or more, and the Premier League wants all clubs to trial COVID-19 ticketing measures before possible government-mandated passports, as Chelsea have announced fans will need to provide evidence that they are at low risk of transmitting COVID-19 to enter Stanford Bridge. So you could see it actually depends on what each team wants when it looks at when it's still looking at the particular incidents happening in across the world as we head into the Premier League that is set to start immediately when it comes to Friday. Now Brentford tonight, Bradford will be taking on Arsenal in that Premier League opener. It's Friday night football, so Arsenal will be away to Bradford there in England as we await and anticipate what does Mikel Arteta's side have to say when it comes to the Premier League season of 2021-2022. Do they have a chance to contend for the title as they are hoping to sign more players as the transfer market is luring or coming to the end of that? But meanwhile, we shall leave that to that for this particular moment. So but first, we do wish all the Express fans good luck, and the players as well as they compete for that final of the Sekafa Kagame Cup down there in Tanzania in Dar es Salaam. And also we look ahead to the fixtures of the Premier League this particular weekend. But for now, I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. Get me on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram as well. But now this is Smart 24 TV. This is Sports Business. Good morning. Smart 24, driving business.
Amanya gange nze Ayuba Johnson nva Kyenjojo nsika chapati simaze mu banga dene teri yawo myaka nge 2 yoka nguzemu bintu bingi ninawe enkoko zange nine embuzi kalo usanga nti ngaba customer bajja ne balya nga tebasasudde ekiri yawo oba ebintu oyinza obikola nebitatambula bulungi nebibeerawo nebisulamu ate bwebisulamu yebaloosi oba oyinza okubulwa sente ezigula ebintu ebirala. Ebintu bya buseere kuduuka naddala engano eyo gavumenti yandutuyambye nekendeezaamu kaawo ku sente ne butto ebintu biri nnyo ate kitala saawa zino bakasitoma si bangi n'ekiri awo.
Smart 24, driving business.
Very well, 3 minutes past 10 in the morning. Let's now head into our news for this particular hour. This is SMB. We begin with the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, UNBS, has called on Ugandan companies to implement management system certification of their products and services to compete locally, regionally and internationally. Now the call was made by Patricia Ejalu, Deputy ED Standards at UNBS during an online awareness workshop on Wednesday to enlighten service providers, manufacturers, industry and all relevant stakeholders about UNBS management system certification. Now, Vincent Kasozi, a senior certification officer at UNBS, took participants through what it takes to get through the management system certificates. We still move on. We head to police stormed the headquarters of Universal Apostles Fellowship Church of Righteousness in Mangwa village in Southern Division, Jinja City, and rescued a woman from rescued a woman from one of the dormitories around there. Now, the 25-year-old Sarah Kawalia had burns and wounds on her buttocks. She currently receiving treatment in the emergency unit of Jinja Referral Hospital. Now, Kawalia was also lying helplessly on the floor, telling journalists that her colleague betrayed her severely for disobeying, and also commanded for the overseer of the church, Fred Isangi, alias Prophet David, to do all these tortures around her. Another one, government is considering prohibiting sale of agricultural land to curb fragmentation. Now, the Commissioner of Youth and Child Affairs at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Mondo Chateka, says that government is seeking for curbing the sale of agricultural land, saying that position is that agricultural land should remain for the purpose. Now, the study done by Haifa International, a pro-agricultural development charity featured by 30,000 young youth in Africa, that is 11 African countries, including Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda and Tanzania, as well as stakeholders in innovation and small entrepreneur farmers. Moving on, let's head into our local updates. Continuing on to our local updates. Sorry, I was going to take you straight to the international one, but before we head there, still continuing on to our local updates for this particular morning. Just shortly, I'm getting there, and we look at how we are also moving on. Very well, we're still into our local updates, what's happening locally. The judiciary has received 1.2 billion to help dispose of the total of 155 parliamentary and local council election petitions around the country, while each judge is supposed to be getting 17,000 per day. Now, the judiciary spokesperson, Jameson Karimani, told journalists on Tuesday at the Uganda Media Center that they have received 1.2 billion to handle matters at the High Court, and also the Chief Magistrates Court throughout the country have been drawn budgets for each court. Let's move on and look on what's happening locally around there. I think I had surely given you some update for yesterday. But moving on, health workers have urged government to consider recruitment of more archaeologists across the country to fill the missing gaps. Now, the archaeologists are physicians who evaluate, monitor, and supervise patients carefully before, during, and after surgery, as well as ensuring optimal patient safety. Dr. Charles Olaro, the Director, Clinical Services and Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, said in a press statement that the country currently needs a total of 400 archaeologists, that is around 2,831, and this offers to 5,000 ICU nurses to work into the regional referral hospitals. We move on. In line with Government of Uganda's strategy to support the local content under the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy, Umeme's purchase of electricity poles from the local farmers now stands at 90,000 annually. Now, Celestino Babunji, who is the Umeme's managing director, says the source of poles, wooden and concrete from Ugandan entities in line with the government's to Buy Uganda, Build Uganda policy. As such, anybody that planted trees has a deal with contracted companies will encourage them, or will be encouraged to reach out to these companies. In its 2020 annual report, the Umeme noted that the wooden poles continue to integrate in line with construction. In its committed procurement wooden pole for the environmental responsibility supplier, who have also established a large sustainability manageable plan for forest plantations. Moving on, a rapid assessment study by the Economic Policy Research Center has also indicated that most businesses in the country are as far as being resilient. Now, Dr. Francis Mwesje, a senior research fellow at EPRC, said that the assessment found out that SMEs in the country, following the second term of the consequences, the study noted that some women who were sleeping in the markets had also underlying conditions like asthma and were also worsened as a result. Some of them were suffering from diseases like HIV/AIDS and were unable to move and pick their medications during the lockdown. But the study also notes that some women were sleeping in markets and had underlying conditions like asthma. Dr. Francis Abibi, the chief economist at the Uganda Development Bank, said that the launch of the report has been asking business plans before offering the loans to small businesses, but they have, however, realized that many businesses do not have any plans as of yet. And that brings us to the end of our local updates this particular hour. Let's get into the foreign news and see what's happening internationally. We kick off with South Sudan, where a court has fined a woman $87,000 for defaming minister on Facebook. Now, South Sudanese High Court sentenced social media influencer and self-proclaimed activist Amiri Ali Thomas, who is also 6 months prison for defaming former Arab State Minister, that is Nyakakwe Cole, through the videos she posted online. The Juba court on Monday also ordered Ali Thomas, known as Mama Amira Ali, to pay 35 million South Sudanese pounds, that's about 87,000 US dollars, to Cole into compensation. And now we move on to Malawi, where the Malawi's Anti-Corruption Bureau has arrested the energy minister and 2 other officials for allegedly being corrupt. Malawi Energy Minister Newton Kambala has been arrested along with the presidential advisor Chris Chimami Bwanda and Enoch Chinani, a partner in the governing Tonsi Alliance. In a statement released yesterday by the Secretary to the President and Cabinet, Kambala has been relieved of his duties by President Chakwera effective August 11th. But also Martha Chizimi, the director of the Anti-Corruption Bureau, told a televised press conference that the arrest was made after the investigations into complaints from the National Oil Company of Malawi. We're still moving on. Let's head to Zambia, where now the this is funny though, but it is Zimbabweans are voting in the national elections after a tense campaign dominated by the economic woes and also the impact of coronavirus pandemic. Approximately 7 million citizens are registered for the vote of the president, legislators and also the local government representatives in the polls that opened from 6 a.m. on Thursday and closed us 12 hours later. More than 2,000 voting stations across the vast country was counted around there. Now 16 presidential candidates are vying to top up the job, but the front runners are the incumbent Eddie Galungu, 64, and his long-term nemesis, that is the business tycoon Hakainde Hichilema, 59, who are facing off the polls for the 3rd time. Basically, we are still moving on, continuing on to our foreign updates for this particular hour. And now moving on to our foreign updates, and I'm still getting it around here. We continue now. Let's cross over to the USA, where the US Coast Guard commander has said that the capitalized vessel never received weather warning. He says a technical issue prevented the guard from relaying warnings of severe weather to a vessel that overturned in the Gulf of Mexico in April, killing 13 crew members. Now on April 13th, the Caesar Power, a commercial lifter boat designed to service oil platform, capsized after encountering hurricane force wind about 20 kilometers off the coast of Louisiana, with 19 people on board. Now 6 people were rescued the day of the accident. Since that time, 4 other bodies were also recovered. We're still moving on. Let's now head into 24 members of the family in the northwestern Nigeria died after consuming poisoning food, a local government official said on Tuesday, according to the Anadolu News Agency. Now, Ali Ainami, the Sokoto State Commissioner for the Health, said that the incident occurred in Danzaki village in Bagaju ward in Issa local government area of the state. He also said a fertilizer popularly known as Gishrini Lale in Hausa was used for food seasoning, as well as it is thought to be very salted. Now, Anadolu further revealed that the 24 victims, said to be the members of the extended family living together in one compound, of which are expected to have eaten up this salty fertilizer. Now, lastly, onto our local news around, our foreign news around the world. We have got Belarus, who has told the US to reduce embassy staff after rejecting an ambassador. Now, the regime of Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has also responded of the latest round of U.S. sanctions by the request of the Washington to reduce the embassy staff in Minsk of 5 people by September 1st. Now, the Belarusian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Anatol Hals said in an interview that that was a place where minister's website around August 11th had made a mistake of Minsk, who had revoked it onto the consent to the appointment of Julie Fisher and the U.S. ambassador Belarus. And very well, that brings us to the end of our news at this particular hour, 17 minutes past 10 in the morning. My name is Rita Kavinyoro. Jerome Pulsonko will be on your screen shortly with discussion and more dives into business analysis. Good morning.